Hi, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and I want to answer a very important question. And we ask this question a lot. How do you find a great general contractor? Of course, owner building is not for everybody. I don't want to make that to be the case. I think that there are great general contractors out there, and I want to help you find them. And so I've written down a couple of things that I go through in my head and in my assessment of people before I hire them. And they're pretty much the same when you look for a great general contractor. So let's kind of talk about those. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments below. That's great. I don't have all the answers, but these are the best that I've been able to come up with. The first one is trades. What kind of experience do they have in the trades? And there are three main categories that I think are the most important when it comes to trades. The first one is your excavation and geologic. Do they have an understanding of soil and geology and excavation and recompaction and all that kind of stuff? If they really have any experience in that, that really helps them understand the site logistics, water flow, all that. And it's a real plus. The second one is structural, and that could be anything from concrete to framing. If they have any kind of trade experience, either in framing or concrete, that's a real plus as well, because it's going to help them think spatially. They're going to see the spatial orientation of the home and its build and whatnot. They're going to see how the concrete needs to mesh with the framing or what have you. And so you want to look for either of those two. The third one is mechanical. Do they have any trade experience in mechanical? And that could be electrical, plumbing, and HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. If they have any trade experience in those three, that's going to be another plus, because it's going to help them think ahead. Because a lot of times plumbing and HVAC, not necessarily electrical, but plumbing and heating and air, that's designed on-site, ad hoc, while they're building. It's not designed in advance unless you pay for that with a mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineer. But most plans that are done by an architect, all they have on there are the electrical plans, not the plumbing and not the heating and air. So if your general contractor has experience in plumbing or experience in heating and air, or even experience in electrical, that's a mechanical trade, and that really helps them to understand and plan ahead. One of the things I think about all the time is my return air. How am I going to run it through the house? I don't want to drop it through a ceiling. I don't want to affect the architecture of the home. So I'm always thinking ahead. And I wouldn't be able to think ahead if I didn't have some mechanical background. Now, I don't have HVAC background, but I do have electrical background. I was an electrician for 1.5 years, and so I worked with HVAC guys. I was constantly running wires, and they would tell me, hey, don't run your wire through there. I need to do a big, huge return air right through there. Or I need to run some ductwork through there. Can you move your wires? So I learned a lot by working with them on the job site. So number 2, how many jobs do they have? All right. The best way to understand how busy anyone is or should be is to go into a restaurant and look at waiters and waitresses, and typically they handle it, an average waiter can handle 2 tables, maybe 3 at the most. A really good waiter can handle 5 to 7 tables. If they're spaced right, maybe more, but if they're not spaced right, maybe 4 to 5 tables at once. What do I mean by that? So if a general contractor's got 3 or 4 jobs going at once, he's really all over the place. And there's ways to solve for that, to alleviate that problem, which we'll talk about in just a second. But you want to find out how much work they have and how much work they have lined out. Are they overbooked for themselves? Are they not going to be to the job site? Are they going to be able to communicate with you? Just like a waiter in a restaurant, are they too busy for you, or are they not too busy for you? You want to kind of make that a factor. And a good general contractor does not overbook themselves. I know it's tempting. Kind of the greed factor kicks in. Man, I can get another job and I can make this year. But then the quality suffers, your communication suffers, and nothing's working right. Number 3, do they perform any of the work on the job site themselves? That's a real plus. It's typically the way a lot of general contractors make some extra money. Either they do their own forms for foundation, or they do their own framing or finished carpentry. If they do something on the job site, that's a big plus. If they don't do anything on the job site, then I worry about that. So I always do my own roofs. I do a lot of my own excavation work. I do a lot of some finished carpentry. Sometimes I'll throw floor. I'll do a lot of stuff on my job sites, but I want to make sure that I'm there or I have one of my people there, and it really helps keep an eye on the job site. So you want to ask, how much of the work do you do yourself? Something to note. A lot of general contractors will do their own framing or their own excavation, but they're going to charge their general contractor fee on top of what they would bid just if they were to frame it for somebody else, but it wasn't their job. They're just framing for somebody else. Like I'll bid a roof, excuse me, I'll bid a roof in the open market, but I'll charge my clients the same. But some of the time, I may not charge my general contractor fee on top of that. If I think it's going to help my client, they're going to really appreciate that. I'll tell them, hey, I'm not going to charge my general contractor fee. I'll just charge you what I charge everyone else to install the roof. Ask your contractor that. If they do some of the work yourself, ask them, do you charge your contractor fee on top of that as well? If they do, ask them if they'll take a discount. I mean, if they're already charging 15 to 20%, and if they're going to do that roof or that flooring or whatever it is in the open market for somebody else, ask for a discount. Not many people know about that. Number 4, which is one of my favorite things, and that is, do they have back office support? Some of the best general contractors and some of the best subcontractors that I've ever found have great back office support. So what does that mean? It could be a husband-wife team. It could be a father-son team, a father-daughter team. It could be a father with a son who's taking over the business. One's working the back office, paper, invoicing, bidding, all that. And the other was working in the field in the front of the office. I learned that from a husband-wife couple that I worked for in Santa Monica, California. They ran a restaurant called the Black Forest Inn on 24th and Wilshire, right there in Santa Monica. And it was a German restaurant, and the husband ran the back kitchen, all the cooking, all the preparation, and the wife worked the front of the house, scheduling all the waiters and waitresses, the bar, and reservations, the works, even marketing. So she ran her part of the business, and the other one ran the other part of the business. And when you have that back and front of the house combo, that's just golden, because when you call them, you're going to get communication. You're going to get a phone call. Today, I emailed my plumber because I needed some insurance verification and I needed a W-9. Within 5 minutes, I got a reply back. I had it that quick because someone's working the back of the office while somebody else is managing the front of the office. That's extremely powerful. Ask if that's the case, because it's going to make communication and everything just wonderful. And the last thing I would mention is, are they on site a lot? Do they come by? Or are they just a drive-by? I was doing a commercial job a couple of years ago, and I was doing the front retail operation, and another general contractor was doing the back end commercial, or the back end production area of a business. And he would drive by in his truck. Oh, everything looks okay, and he would drive away. Never come in to look at how things were operating. The client got so frustrated that he fired that person and hired me to do the back end and the front end at the same time. So you want to make sure that they're there. I know clients that have had cameras on job sites, and when somebody shows up, they can see that person there. And you may want to think about that. But if the contractor is constantly showing up and doing work and enjoying writing things down, taking pictures, taking notes, that means they care about their work and they enjoy that part of their work. But if they're never there and they don't enjoy being there, then I don't know how they can enjoy see the qualities taking place. I don't know. Just these are some of my thoughts that I think about when I hire people. And I think that they would be the same when trying to look for a general contractor. Think about some of these things, write them down, listen to the video again if you need to. But I wanted to mention that there are some great general contractors out there. They're not all bad news. And the only way you're going to find a general contractor that's great is to start looking for questions like these and start writing down more questions. because if you don't know what a general contractor is great at and how to find a great one, if you don't know those questions, you're not going to find one. You have to know what to ask for and know what to look for. Anyway, this is Keith Kelch giving you my best here at How to Build Your Own Home.